Welcome to the In Season podcast, rated R for language.
None of us are doctors or neurologists. The things you're about to hear are opinions of people living with epilepsy or seizures. These are firsthand experiences. Epilepsy can cause speech problems, and the medications are hard to pronounce. So please bear with me.
Epilepsy can cause bad memory, so some stories will be repeated. I'm Pookie. Get ready.
What's feminist exactly?
I guess, well, you're asking a girl that was born in the 60s. So burning the bras started it. Equal rights for women, just to get the equal recognition. And like with anything else, there's radical sides to everything. Oh, hey, now Mark has a guitar. Oh, you guys, love you. But yeah, I think feminism is more promoting the empowerment of the female power, the female status, because we live, not everybody recognizes it. And this is considered feminist, what I'm going to say, and non-conservative. But the fact that our entire social system, legal system, medical system is based on pretty much white Anglo-Saxon male. And we live in a very patriarchal society. When women speak up and we show that we are empowered and that we do have power over that patriarchal oppression, that's feminism. And I love to be hated for that.
All right, right. I didn't exactly know what the word meant. I've heard it.
And do
Not know
you?
the definition.
I had a best friend for a while who was a literal feminist professor. Like that was what she taught, was feminist history and philosophy. So anyway, I'm out.
I recently learned what
Um,
the actual inside of your uterus looks like, and it makes so much more sense now because when they showed it in school or whatever, it was all spread out. Like they'd had all this room to breathe, but in actuality, it is shrouded together, and it's kind of insane. Like as a woman myself, I'm still learning things that are true about my body and my genetic makeup because I am a female. Because the people that wrote the books were men, and so I was taught what my body is by a man, and now I'm learning what my body actually is by females. Which is it makes so much more sense when it's said by a female. And it's also oddly common for men to want to be OBGYNs.
Well,
And
not to mention you don't want to ask questions.
yeah,
If
like
anything is not said clearly or explained right, you're not going to turn around and say, "Oh, but then, how do I know what
well, and how
tampon
am
to
I
use?"
supposed to
Like,
ask him
how are
like,
you
well,
going to
why
ask
does
some
it
guy
feel
that?
like this? Because how is he supposed to know? How did you write about that? He probably didn't even let the women finish talking and then just wrote the book. Literally, have you seen those podcasts where the guys are where the girl's like telling her story and she's like, "Yeah, I went through this really hard thing and this is so bad." Yeah, and well, and he probably did like, well, yeah, well, he did like, yeah, I mean that's the crazy thing, and they never let him finish. That's how I feel about the books that were taught in school, because I'm looking back at it now and I'm like, if my uterus was that spread out, I would be huge. Like, I'd be ginormous. I'd be a big. I'd be a big. I'd be wide. I would be the size that men want their shoulders to be. I would be big. So, my own uterus area would be like a bodybuilder's frontal top area. It would just be that of the uterus and then the
I
rest.
think you're trying to say pecs, maybe?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Love the
All
analogy.
big and wide, and they want to have like a 12-foot arm range. That's literally how they try to
The
describe my uterus to me.
the
Like, oh yeah, they're like a good 3, 5 feet apart. No, they're not. What? I'm 5'7". What? And why are you saying my waist is 5 foot? What? Come on now. That hurts my feelings.
Is it
So
wrong
I
that I
mean,
don't exactly know
they
what a
went
uterus
to
is?
medical school, not like engineering school. Units of measure are not their like eyeballing physical measurements is not.
Well, no, they're
That's
men trying to tell a woman what their body is made up of and how it feels. That's the first problem.
well, a man can see the waist size though. That's not mansplaining, is it? That's
No,
just
but
kind of being
mansplaining is
shitty
trying to
saying
explain how a
it's
Yeah,
woman
five
but
feet
feels on
until
her
around.
he
period.
until he
That's
can actually see how far apart his fingers are on both sides, like that no, I wouldn't
It
trust
was
that from
more of
him. But
like a like they a man tried to explain how women's periods are in school. And that was
yeah.
the first mistake. Because how come the boys get a male teacher and the female get a male teacher as well? Well, what happened? What happened? I'm confused because I remember sitting in that classroom and everyone was silent. We had no questions about our body. We had none. Not a single one for that man. Like, that was the same man that told me I asked for it because I was wearing leggings. So, our principal, everybody.
How long
all
ago
right,
was this?
we gotta run this one back by Brandon.
Um, but I had a slightly tangential question from the very beginning, I guess kind of for Annie, but generally for everyone, like the feminist first wave, second wave, third wave is something I've never understood. Um, is there that big of a difference between all of them? Or because I grew up in like an evangelical Christian household, and like all feminism is kind of going against the conservative family structure is what I was told, or what I was led to understand. And I don't know if it's entirely likely that I was just misunderstanding exactly what was being taught to me, misunderstanding what those teachers were saying. But
You can be a Christian and a feminist. You can
right,
also
yeah.
be a
So
Christian and not a feminist, and it just really depends on your viewpoint of your faith and with your faith how you view those around you because your faith plays a really big role into how you view others. Um so but I think if you're saying you came from like a conservative, more like women around the house and men do the job and women do are the caregivers and are meant to breed, then
not not necessarily so much. More so that like the well, I don't know. It's kind of that part wasn't really my point. I don't necessarily want to get
Yeah, I think
into
he's just trying to say the
my
emphasis.
family structure like
Yeah.
right,
I
especially
was
right
raised in
before
a
my parents are gonna be in family day. Like let's not pry into details. But you know, the conservative aspect of that was more so that, you know, I was not taught any sort of differences between feminism. It was all just the radical overthrow of the conservative family values and all lumped together. So I don't know the details of, I mean, they can't all be the same if there's enough effort put into separating the names. Like, and I don't necessarily trust a Wikipedia reading of that, my knowledge, understanding of that. I would love to hear it directly from
Yeah, I think you're
people,
right to ask when Anne's around
especially
because she can
Annie,
probably.
someone who
Yeah. When I was younger, I mean, I was born in 61, so I remember as a child things happening. And I believe that it started, and don't quote me because Mark, I know that you'll be studying. I adore you for that. But it started out because women didn't even have the right to vote. We couldn't buy a house without, on our own. Couldn't even have a
Mhm.
checking account or a credit card. I could not have a credit card until the mid 80s without my husband's signature.
Yeah.
Um, that was part, and then the equal pay. So it started out as ERA, the Equal Rights Amendments. Is basically my understanding is what started the women's movement for those equal rights because we just wanted to be able to vote, buy a house, own a car, get a driver's license, and get paid the same amount of money that the engineer sitting next to me who flunked out of half of his classes. Do you know what I mean? It's like you could both have exactly the same job, and a woman is going to get paid up to 30% less. And that was the beginning of the Equal Rights Amendments, the Equal Rights Movement. And I wasn't even aware that I wasn't allowed to vote because by the time that changed, I was allowed to vote. Um, but that's pretty much what started it. And now I think in so many ways it's gone a little radical. Um, but the idea was equality among the two sexes, to our gender should not determine our worth. And in that way, yes, the conservative families did get offended. I grew up in a conservative household. I married a guy who decided to go to Bible college, even though he knew he married a hippie feminist. Big mistake on his part. But, you know, and not for nothing, because I experienced it. In many ways, the conservative Christian family structure is very oppressive for women. And when you're a pastor's wife, you are 100% a slave. You just have to do and be exactly what you're told. And that's not me. But I know a lot of women that are like that. I had to go to church with them, I had to socialize with them, biting my tongue for a decade until I was finally like, you ladies should thank women like me because you can actually have your driver's license without your husband signing for that. You can own your own car. You can do all these things because of the feminists like me, because it started out as, just the equal rights. And we still see a lot of, it's still a battle. Um, and politically, and I don't want to get into it too much, but the female, I don't want to just say, I'm just going to call it reproductive. Our reproductive rights have always been a political, um, yeah, they've been used as a political crutch one way or another.
Lightning rod
And
or touchstone.
yeah, yeah. And, and it's sad because when you look at I've had some people tell me my therapist does a lot of sociology and she's always studying. And she said, this generation um, is having like so many fewer kids that the new birth per capita has reduced over 50%. And, I heard just for the hell of it, I turned the TV on Sunday morning and our cable was out. So I ended up watching some churchy something. And he was talking about how, these women are destroying the family structure. And it's like, okay, let's look at that objectively. If they feel so threatened that women announcing their own empowerment and their desire to be autonomous is threatening the family structure, who is that really threatening? It isn't threatening the women at all. It isn't threatening the children. We're going to take care of our kids. You don't mess with a mama bear. So, yeah, feminism can be taken as a radical or a not as radical. And I like to look at it as the equal rights. But yes, now it's like, yo, we can make our own choices. We don't need somebody to tell us that we can't, And I know it's hard, I get it, Mark, because you were probably told a lot of different things. I got grounded a lot when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. Oh, I'm going to the library, and then I come home with paintball paint all over me because I was at a protest downtown. They used paintballs instead of rubber bullets then. So how do you explain to your parents how you got covered in 4 different colors of paintballs at the library? So I did shit like that all the time, and it's like,
Have you
okay,
seen the show Community
no.
no? It was, I think it's a comedy, like um, oh, I don't know. It's about like a group of people that meet at a community college and like form a study group for a Spanish class that is taught by somebody who has no what was it? What was his name? Ken Jong. He's this like crazy Chinese guy who's
Yeah.
teaching Spanish completely incorrectly. But yeah, they have there's an episode where they completely take over the entire campus for a paintball game. And like all of the students, all of the faculty, everything. I think after I don't know how many seasons, but I think the first time they did it, after that, they made it an annual thing. And every season after that, they had a different theme for the paintball war.
Oh, fun.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it is possible to get paintballed at a library.
Yeah, but
Their
not in 19
library was turned into a fortress.
yeah,
Well,
not in 1974 in
I
Buffalo.
mean,
No.
you were the originals. That you can
Yeah,
say
it was the
that's
cops
how.
with the paintballs. Yeah.
Um, what did I have?
I was
Oh,
gonna say before my grandma passed away, she was kind of hallucinating and stuff, and she thought it was the 60s again, and then she kind of saw me and realized like we're like a new day and age, which I don't think she realized what day and age we are in. So she asked me, she's like, "What is it like being a free woman?" And Um, I was like, well, we've been free for a little while now, B. I was like, we've had our rights for a while. And she was like, really? And she was like, so happy about me telling her about how I could get a job as a female by myself. She was like, I didn't know we could do that. And I was like, yeah, we have our own rights now. You can do whatever you want. You have rights to your body. I was like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to with your body. And she was like, that's amazing, Olivia. That's amazing that you can do that. She was like, we used to not be able to have ownership of our body and or anything when I was your age. And I was like, no, like you can peacefully be knowing that we are free. And she was so happy. That was like made her day. She was so happy. I mean, she was not fully in it, but I was glad that I was there to tell her, like you're in a day and age when you made it through it. You made it. You did it. And she is one of the women that it's not full feminist, but she she also was a little feminist. She was a little feisty too.
Like
So
agreed with the
uh,
principles.
yeah, so and not to get too deep into anything, but even this day and age with reproductive rights, I mean, um, with my epilepsy, I sleep very deeply, so I make sure that I don't have sleepovers or anything like that, especially with like a male or anything like that, um, because of the birth rates and stuff like that, people have tried to do things while I was asleep. Um, And it's concerning. It's still a problem to this day, and people don't recognize that all the time. And they think that just because, we have rights to our bodies means that we have full rights to our bodies. But when people still sometimes, even women, if they think that they're your significant other, or a man thinks that they're your significant other, anyone of anything, they think that they have ownership of your body, and they don't. So, no matter what, you always have ownership of your body, and just because you're in a relationship does not mean that they get to do anything to your body that you are not aware of or you do not consent to.
Mark, you still got your hand up?
Um, this is, I guess, kind of going back a couple steps, but something that I wanted to point out is the um hold on, I gotta take my man while the alarm is going off, otherwise it's not. Regarding feminism and Christianity, I think that it something interesting that I have learned recently, and I still need to fact check to confirm it, but it sounds right to me, was that in the Bible, when the verses that are cited, often, the most misogynistic verse that's cited is often in Genesis, that woman was created to be a servant of man. Um, my understanding is, or what I recently learned, still need to confirm, but is that the specific word that was translated to be servant in that verse um had appeared only one other time in the Bible, and that one instance it was used to refer to God himself coming down. The Israelites were trapped in battle, and it was like a certain defeat, and God came in, and it's this word that was used. Um, and in that case, it was translated as a helper, or like, I guess in that context, it could be understood as an ally, or something. And when the Israelites went into battle, they were victorious because they had this helper, this incredible ally there to support. By no means would that word ever be used to indicate anything subservient in that context. And I think that is significant that yeah, if that word in that context in the Bible is not in any way subservient or less than, um, I don't think it should be viewed that way
Can I
in
add
Genesis.
can I
So,
add that in like this might be a little earlier than maybe Bible scripture or whatever. I don't know because I'm not religious like that. But if a woman were to not have a male child, she would be seen as a witch and hung. Or she would be seen as the one giving out the plague. Um, and those were oftentimes motivated by religion. Um, and not saying that that's your religion or anyone's religion now, but um, I think just because sometimes the way something is written doesn't necessarily, everyone will interpret it differently and will then go on about and uh, justify their actions with that. And they can say it's a fact, back in the day, they really thought that was a fact, that women were witches if they did not have a male child, and that they started, um, different things just because they weren't having men, because men have always, it has always been a male dominated world. But
and that colors the glasses of the interpreters of the day when they were going to this source material and reading it. Um, so yeah, I definitely think that's, but to my knowledge, those points about, women being seen as a witch with male heirs, that doesn't sound familiar to me. But I have not memorized the Bible. I've read
well,
it a lot,
it's
but
not in the
not
Bible.
I'm not an expert.
It's more of a history thing, more of a history buff. Like
A lot of yeah,
back in
a lot
the
of
it was
different
around
cultures have had a lot of
1800s
pretty
in
uh
different villages and whatnot, they would um there's actually a story that I just read and listened to about a woman that um was killed and hung because she did not have a male child, and because her husband had died of a sickness and they believed that she made him sick, um, and because uh, she wasn't reproductively fit, or she wasn't an actual mother because she hadn't had a male child. She only had a female child. I forgot what her name was. I just watched this though. And then they tried to do the same thing to her daughter, but her daughter's husband somehow, I think, won a trial and saved the daughter's life. The daughter did end up being imprisoned for a while, but like witch trials and things like that, they are, a lot of things are you know, they'll use religion as kind of a backbone of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that because you identify with a certain religion that you identify that you're doing what they're doing, you know. So that's them being kind of, you know, you're judging someone off of something you don't truly know their beliefs. Just because you say that you're Christian doesn't mean that I can automatically be like, oh, you were part of some crazy rich try. You do this, you do that, you probably do. No, I can't do that because I don't know what in your Christianity beliefs you believe personally because it's a personal thing. So I think when it
Mhm.
comes to any form of religion, if it's not super cultist or if someone's not pushing beliefs, um, and things like that, then you know it's respectable and you coexist with everyone else and you let them do what they do and you do what you do and you know as long as you're not hurting anyone then I have no problem with it. But you know, if you're using religion like Scientology for an example, uh I don't want to get too into that, but it has its it has its backgrounds and it has
History.
its names, and you those sometimes people will use things for it gets messed up in greed. I think people are mainly the problem, not necessarily religion. It's the people that um, try and put it out, you know, because they can take something that
Yeah.
was perfectly pure in the first place and twist it and make it into something that is for their own beneficial gain and that goes with their agenda and that will benefit them and how they want things to go because everyone has different beliefs at the end of the day. Not
So
everyone is the
profit
same.
benefit profit brings corruption. We can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Something else somebody's saying that kind of feeds off the feminist vibe is and this isn't coming from the screen name evil old swamp witch. So I'm just assuming female on this one. I felt
Well,
awful day.
that's why women call themselves witches because of the witch trials and stuff because they like because that was a
Right? Pride in it.
thing back in the day.
Okay, so the title on this one is Sick and Working. She's saying, I felt off all day and I knew. Since they increased my Keppra, I've had less seizures, and now they're getting to figuring out my heart ANS problem. So far, I have a pericardial effusion and some form of dysautonomia. I don't know how to say that. I work. I've passed out at work and then kept working. I've had a seizure at work and kept working. I've worked previous jobs with cracked ribs and a broken ankle, having drop attacks, kept working. But the last few days, my brain kept saying, you need another day off. I kept wondering maybe everyone else really is chronically fatigued all the time, and I'm just a bitch about it. Well, I went to work anyway, and near the end of my shift, I felt off. I knew. I came home buzzing and foggy and had a seizure. I'm a dog trainer, which means if I have to cancel a day for recovery after a particularly rough seizure, I have to cancel the classes. Nope, I have not had to do this once since I've been a dog trainer. Tomorrow I have 3 classes to cancel. And my normally very supportive husband tells me I should take a different day off because it's terribly inconvenient for the customers who probably plan their whole day around the class. The customers pick their days, and I just feel so weak and so stupid. Okay.
Take that day off.
Whew.
Take that day off.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you have to take that day off. You have
Mm-hmm.
to.
Because
It
what
hurt.
happens if you
Mm-mm.
don't?
Mm-mm.
You could
Mm-mm.
die.
Yeah.
For real.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I mean, go into
Mm-mm.
status and if they can't stop it, you know. And here you go. Here's Katie needs a little help there. Yeah, man. I mean, I know how it is. Like I used to work like that. Like go to work all messed up. Because what if I didn't, right? Like people that ordered their ice cream cakes for their birthdays wouldn't get them, and those kinds of things, right? Because you have your week planned out. When you have 30 ice cream or ice cream cake orders, you have them in order by pickup and day, and you know like what you're doing. And then after you leave, you don't even know if more ice cream cakes were ordered after that, right? So like I understand where she's coming from with the like, or he, I don't know, is coming from with the I can't, but guess what? Sometimes you have to. I had to learn that
What?
hard way.
Yeah, when I worked at a warehouse and I was, I'm on. That's not a safe place to have a seizure. Is a
No.
warehouse where I was lifting heavy boxes up to 80 pounds and stuff, and there were forklifts around where there were areas that you could drop down, hit your head everywhere you could hit your head. Everything's hard. You have to wear, steel-toed shoes if that says anything. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I
And
worked in
they
a warehouse.
when I didn't take, a day off, I have a seizure and I lose my job. So, it's good to take a day off. If you need that day off, if your body is really telling you to take that day off, you probably should, because it's probably warning you that if you don't, then it's going to force you to take a week off. And that's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe, your customers or, people that you're helping to you're training their dogs that work their whole schedule out to do it that day. If you sent them emails and explained the situation, I feel like people would be a lot more understanding and definitely would accept it better. I could be wrong, but having worked in customer service before, I feel like that would really get you far and make it less like, oh God, I had my whole day around this and now it's ruined. Imagine it from the other side if they're sending you an email saying, this is why, can we reschedule or offer a discount or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say like offer a discount, don't go into detail about exactly what happened, but maybe something just generic like,
Yeah, I mean, you can just say you
there,
have
there's
a
been,
health
a
emergency or
personal
personal
emergency
emergency, whatever. Yeah,
has
something you
come up,
can't. Yeah.
and just tell them that, you'll um reschedule them, work to
Mm.
get them into your schedule early as possible, availability, and offer a small discount for the inconvenience. And I think most people, unless they're looking for a fight or want a bigger discount, most people should be pretty understanding about that kind of thing.
I mean, because
I
most people have
maybe
had
I'm
that kind of
just
thing for
I'm
themselves,
I'm this
right?
person. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe we've all just had too many medical things come up to know what the average person would feel about, you
Is that
know,
why it's fucking up? It's not,
um,
right?
No, but these specific cars have more.
so,
Yeah. Right.
um,
So
um,
what you
I am so sorry that y'all heard me. I was talking to my daughter about a car. Please forgive me.
You didn't hear much. Um, yeah, there's not even going to be anything really edited out. Didn't hear much.
didn't
Um,
understand any of it.
yeah, back to when Lufa said she worked in a warehouse. I want to say, yeah, I worked in a warehouse too. And I had a couple seizures in there and bust my mouth up pretty bad. And yeah, eventually found out that wasn't the job for me. The cement floors throughout. Yeah, it was fun. I love working, but yeah, my stepmom had me give my manager a letter.
It was
I didn't
so
really know what the
funny.
letter was about, but it was a letter of resignation, and I gave it to my boss, and I didn't know. She was just like, "Give this to your boss." I didn't really pay attention to it.
Yeah, I
But
was
this
not
is right
happy.
now.
Because
But
warehouse jobs are like, if you find the right one, it's like, it's fun. It's actually kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of fun. It feels fulfilling sometimes. You guys, I don't know, for me, it was fun. I loved it. But my body couldn't sustain it. I loved it, but my body didn't. And that kind of
yeah,
stuff. So, and it's also like the worst environment, one of the worst environments to have a seizure because it's like there's so much happening, like, and there's like again, like you said, it's just like cement floors and there's steel beams and there's heavy boxes. It's a warehouse. It's not, I wasn't pick and packing shirts. I was doing like large PCs and I was
I,
on
I
track. It was, heavy stuff.
I took my warehouse job and I knew it was dangerous, but at the same time I was covered because once you're in there past the 90 days, you're part of the union.
Mhm.
So I couldn't be fired or anything, with my seizures or everything. So they had to go through the process to fire me. And I had my FMLA and everything. Like they just couldn't get rid of me.
If you like 90 Days, you should watch 90 Day Fiance. It's a great show.
so right. I've seen it. It's
That
pretty
show
good actually.
freaks me out. So I'm kind of freaked out that Bachelor in Paradise has the old people on the beach. That's freaking me out. I don't know how to feel about that.
I
So check out Love Island.
But I
I
haven't watched
cannot
it yet.
get over the Love Island. I can't do it. I can't do it. The
Yeah,
voice,
and the
so awful.
Golden
It's so awful.
Bachelor, Golden Bachelor, Bachelorette. Oh, I didn't finish that season at all. Stay away from those.
The
Mm,
Golden Bachelor, the first
Very.
one I seen was hilarious. There was one
That's
lady where they
horrifying.
used to
I
dance.
don't know what we're talking about. That was horrifying. The Golden Bachelorette. Was that a thing? I don't know, but it was horrifying. Just the old people kissing and stuff. Oh my god. Oh my god. See, you're squirming, Brandon. It's not. It's not right to watch. It's
It's
not.
hilarious.
I'm
Men are
not
gonna. I
squirming. I'm
swear to God,
laughing. I'm
if
just
they are on
laughing
that
at the
beach with
hilarious.
the younger
What y'all
ones,
got
you're
against
gonna
old
lose
people?
it.
Exactly. I was not
They
squirming. I got
do.
nothing against old people whatsoever.
No, no,
No.
I don't got nothing against old people, but I didn't love it. I gotta be honest, I didn't love it. But I'm telling you, I'm really not gonna love that they're including them with the paradise. They're gonna be shirtless, guys. They're gonna be shirtless.
I would hope so.
I, oh,
I just have to
I,
do it. I have
I
to
don't
do it.
judge. I don't judge.
Okay. All right,
I don't
Lufa.
judge.
Is it like watching your parents make out? I mean, it's kind of you had to say it.
Yeah, it feels like watching my grandparents make out. That's what it felt like to me, and so it freaked me out.
I'd
Because
be excited if my
I'm
parents actually
imagining
kissed
my
each
being
other.
papa. And to me, oh my god, stop! Because when it's just the regular bachelor, they're like my age, they're like kids, and I still don't like that. Sometimes it still freaks me out, and I have to cover my eyes like a kid because I'm like, whoa, NSFW, please. But this paradise is really gonna throw me off the edge because what are they wearing, first of all? I'm gonna have to watch it, but I'm just letting you guys know I'm not happy about it. I wasn't one to vote for it.
Why do you have to watch it?
I don't
Just
have to watch it,
just
but
don't.
I want to watch it.
No,
It
I
don't.
know, but
it's
I just
so
need
wait,
to see
Mark.
like one or two episodes just to get like to see what's going on and to validate that yes, no, I don't like this. I'm a
To
person of
just
experience.
So,
just
Mark, hang on.
validate their marketing methods. They created this specifically to trigger this reaction in
Yeah.
people,
Yeah.
and they're gonna make it something I don't know what, either something ridiculous enough or something normal enough that you'll be like, okay, I'm gonna keep watching this.
So, Mark, you've got to just
Don't
think of it
start.
as it's junk food. It's
Yeah.
junk food for the soul,
Yeah.
a little bit. You know, it's like you hate it,
No,
Yeah.
no,
but you also get
It
to watch
itches
these
from you.
people
It just itches
well,
something
be
that you're
no.
so
Mhm.
horrible to themselves and everyone around them. And it makes you feel a little bit better about yourself, going, I'm not that person. Thank God.
No, but
I'm
It's
not on
like
a
I'm
group
part
with
of
a
the
chips.
bunch of
same
old people.
species
I'm
as
in a
they
group
are,
I'm
and
just
that's
talking
with
about
not,
like
epilepsy
reality
people.
shows. Reality shows
yeah,
in general.
well,
That's all I'm saying.
I don't really watch reality TV, but when it came to the old people, I had to watch one episode and then I couldn't get through the rest because it just reminded me of my grandparents. Um, and so when it comes to, I also don't like watching The Bachelor and stuff because I do want to see Love Island, but I don't like The Bachelor and stuff because it kind of freaks me out. Okay, I'm not sure about Love Island, but I just want to maybe I watched
Check
one
it
episode.
out.
You give
Okay.
me one
There.
episode and then
There you
it'll
go.
justify it'll let me know everything I need to know by one episode and I'm good.
Watch the first episode.
The first episode is either I keep watching it because it's like, yes, this is intriguing enough and I like it, it's up my alley, or it's no, this is either too boring or so oddly intriguing that I hate it so much and I don't need to know more about this. So I probably won't need to know more about the island and I probably won't need because I saw them in those cuffs. I saw a video of them in those cuffs and oh my god, I couldn't oh my god, it looked horrifying. What the why are you up? Oh. Mm-mm. It's just something about it being on reality TV. If you do that in your own personal life, I'm not judging you. But something about it being on the reality TV, I can't get through it. And then if the old people try to get with the younger people, it's just really gonna throw me. And I will stop watching after that. That's gonna throw me off just a little bit. Just a little bit.
All right, we're gonna move forward.
Yeah, thank you. I'm okay with that.
I didn't think you were.
No, I am. I need to get that. I too caught up on it and my like it's all I can imagine in my brain. It's freaking me out.
I feel you. Get it off your chest. Got
Well,
something.
no, it's I need it out of my
well,
brain.
right,
I need to focus on something else.
uh, uh, uh,
Go ahead.
before you move on with another question, can I just do a little funsies thing? Like, since Brandon is the reality shows as like comfort food, um, and I don't find those kinds of shows in any way comforting. That makes me
No,
wonder,
no.
like,
It's not comfort. It's junk. It's junk.
junk. Well, okay, but so okay, well, that doesn't really change the questions that I was gonna ask, but so uh can what do you think about going around and like if you had to pick just one TV show as your like your comfort food TV show of choice, you know, televisual food for your soul. Um, what would you pick?
I've got
Maybe
two.
This Old House or some designer shows.
For me, it's
You know what?
30 Rock if I need something funny, and Ted Lasso if I need something like heartwarming.
True crime.
True crime. So like 2020, you just
No,
binge
like
watch all 47 seasons.
More
No.
like 48 hours, I think.
No, like
Oh, no?
like the really big deep dives into the case. Usually they're on like YouTube, but it's kind of like it's
Like
usually it's almost like a
the
television
miniseries
or
specials where
they
they
do
do
like
like a whole like
right now
6
I'm
8
watching
episodes on the same.
yes, recent right now I'm watching a YouTube channel all about murders in each state. Very interesting.
Like state by state.
Yeah, yes.
Okay, that's cool. What
And
state are you on?
I forgot.
I mean, this actually does relate to epilepsy people who have difficulty eating. He said the easiest way to gain weight is or eat is to drink your food.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I
He
have
said,
been advocating for a blender or to find the blender so that I can get the proper nutrients that I need. I've been advocating for one of those in the house.
okay.
I've been like pushing or like sort of spouting the idea of um depending on your medication, obviously check to see if it's safe to dissolve in water, but drinking my pills has been a little better for me because my pills are so big that it, like sometimes they'll get caught in my throat and I end up like puking it out, and then it's just a waste of a pill. So I've been working on just dissolving them in water, using something to stir it around, and it's been going better. And I feel like the pills hit me a little faster actually because my stomach isn't doing the work. It's already dissolved.
Yeah. So I got something here now. It says, does anyone feel like they just can't think? Lately, I've been feeling like I can't concentrate or think like at all. I'll be doing something or reading something, then have to go back and reread it because I realize I'm not focusing. I'm never sure if it's medications or my actual epilepsy. Since my epilepsy was triggered by TBI, I feel like I've been stuck for 6 years and it makes me feel so constricted. Does anyone else have insight or feel the same way? I'm pretty much past that
I feel
phase.
like
I'm
I can't think all
on
the time.
time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know, I'm just saying I was there once upon a time, but I'm kind of 20 years into this. So anybody
I
else?
feel like I can't think, so my brain always lags. That's what I say. I'm just lagging all the time, and but part of that's from the ECT, so I have to like I think of it as growing a part of my brain back.
Good way to put it. Brandon, you have something?
Hmm?
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't think I made any sign that I had something to say. Sorry.
No, you didn't. I was just checking.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got nothing here. I'm sorry.
No, this was different. It says, do you want to have kids or not? Since epilepsy is hereditary, I've made my mind on not having my own
Oh,
kid. Maybe adoption, but I also don't want to scrutinize those who choose to have a kid. What is the general opinion in this? Is this common among those who have epilepsy, or since medication has advanced, people feel it's okay to have a kid?
okay. Sorry. So this I can add to, yes. Because I am a child of a genetic, epilepsy disorder. Um, Me personally, I don't want kids, but also, I would never want to take the risk on it if I knew it was going to be a possibility. Because, I can live my life and everything, but I don't want to force someone to have to also go through this, just by being born, where again, they did not ask to be born. I just decided to have a child. So it's not on them, but they have to deal with the consequences. Um and yeah, I think that's where my mind's at. Like, if it happens, it happens, but like, don't go actively looking to do it because come on, we don't want anyone to deal with what we have to deal with.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking like that maybe 15 to 16 years ago. Yeah. Made
Well,
it here.
and at the same time though, like my father, when I was born, didn't know that he had epilepsy either. So it wasn't, like he knew and then went with it anyway. It happened later on, so it's sort of like one of those, well, so it goes
I
situation.
think I wasn't planned, but I think that epilepsy is on my sperm donor side of the family, which is why we don't know anything about it. Because I have no contact with them. So it makes it really hard for me to figure out like what the potential genetic factor could be in it. So I'm kind of just like, because I'm the only one in the family with epilepsy, so it has to be on his side. No one on my mom's side has it. Um,
The
uh,
only reason that I know that mine is genetic is because I actually had to track him down
well,
and
I've
find
tracked him
out that
down.
he had epilepsy. That was where the connection was like, oh,
I
that's why I
tracked,
have. Okay.
I just haven't like confronted him, but I just feel like it wouldn't be worth it,
Eh,
honestly,
different
because
for everybody. Yeah.
I just don't think that interaction would be worth it at all for my mental health and stuff. Because I think I would just end up beheading him.
Um,
Yeah, I get
Brandon,
that.
didn't you say that you had genetic testing? I thought that you had said that
I
was
had
how
genetic
you.
testing for medication purposes.
So were
Okay,
they
not
testing for
for.
for some kind of interaction?
So it tests. So for when I mental health reasons, I was tested because I actually was gonna bring them all up, but I got lazy. Because I would have to put them in a probably one or two, 1 and 1.5 garbage bags. But I have all the bottles of medication. Because I like to save some of them, and I probably have over like 300 bottles of medications and probably over 50 different types of medications. But it's a big collection. I don't know why I save them, but I have a problem with saving all my medication bottles. Um, but it
You'll
is
be ready
a
for the
genetic
apocalypse.
testing to make sure to see what my body responds to or will respond to because my bipolar and borderline personality disorder is my main diagnosis when it comes to my mental health. And it's like treatment resistant, which is why I had electric convulsive therapy done. Um, and it also told me that I'm only, my body only like correctly ingests and works the way that my body makeup is with 5 medications. So out of all the medications, only 5 of them are work, which is explains why I'm med resistant. Um, and one of the medications I have in my possession, but I haven't started taking it because it can cause tardive dyskinesia, and I've already had that, and I
Which
don't want
one?
to go through that again. And
Which medication?
I forget what it's called, but I do know that if we didn't have insurance, it would be $4,500. So I don't know. I want to try it just because of how much it is, but I also don't want tardive dyskinesia again because that was traumatizing. And tardive dyskinesia is not something that is fun at all. And most people don't know what it is either, so it's hard to explain. If, you know.
Got something.
So I said I had a traumatic brain injury, and so it's, like you're not going to pass that down, just like you, Pookie. You're not going to pass down a traumatic brain injury. So
No.
we have a little bit different way of looking at it, and I didn't know about mine anyway when we decided to start a family. And thank goodness I didn't start having seizures or get a diagnosis until my kids were almost able to care for themselves. Anyway, I'm
But
sorry.
the unfortunate thing is you could say that about any illness, because really a lot of illnesses can be passed down genetically. Like asthma, I'm sure can be passed down genetically, I'm not sure. But you could say that about anything. So it's really just your point of view, and if you're going to be a parent, then you have to be a parent and you have to be prepared for your child to maybe be epileptic. They won't, sorry, my screen is like flashing. I'm watching Trailer Park Boys. Um they may not be epileptic. They may be epileptic, but you in your mind knowing that you are epileptic have to prepare for that and have to be aware and be supportive and advocate for that child because you chose to have a child. But just because you have an illness doesn't mean that you can't have a child, you know. There's some illnesses that I might be a little like iffy on that, like I'd be like, you have 100% chance of giving it to the kid and you're fully like not, hey, that is not my place, that's your life. But that's really a personal thing, and I think that it also comes with being um responsible and really acknowledging what being a parent is at the end of the day. And that being said, I will not be having kids.
Understandable.
Plenty would agree with the safe way to go.
Got something here. It says traveling back to the US from Europe. I have generally well controlled petit mild seizures, 2 to 3 a month. I'm on a regimen of Excopri and Zonogram. I just traveled from Philadelphia to northern Spain for 10 days. I was fine. I was fine there, remarkably. Now, after returning, I'm completely much more than normal, exhausted, 3 hours up, two asleep, tired always. Also, after at least 2 good long retime adjustment sleeps. Has anyone experienced this kind of added exhaustion post travel? And thanks. Post travel.
We spent 20 hours, I want to say, in the car overall in the last 4 days. And I didn't feel any more exhausted than usual. But again, I really give a lot of the energy back thing to no more benzo, no more clobazam.
That could be the jet lag too from the Europe to Americas again.
Every time I fly cross country, it takes me a couple of days to recover.
Although it was just me. Every time I go to the East Coast, for some reason, I gotta sleep a couple of days. Waking up
Not
at
just
1 in
you.
the afternoon.
Yeah, we have when we travel, there's one specific, like the first day is specifically recovery day from traveling because it's like so much on everything. It's even stressful for people that don't have any illnesses. Traveling is just stressful in general. It gets everyone's emotions heightened.
There's a comment here. It says, I've traveled the same number of time zones and back multiple times and not really had any issues beyond the usual week or so of jet lag adjustment. But I've also gotten quite accustomed to being exhausted all the time these past 13 to 14 years of treatment. Another one says, my family traveled from California to Portugal, and that is actually how we found out my 7-year-old had nocturnal frontal lobe epilepsy. The 8-hour time difference that he never adjusted to and long flights sent him into a state of sleep deprivation, and he started having weird vocalizations and movements getting out of bed. We initially thought he was sleepwalking, but as he continued to lose sleep, it progressed to him having these episodes every 5 to 10 minutes at night, 50 plus clusters seizures at night. He was diagnosed with NFLE. Is anyone
Well, I guess
scared?
the only yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead. That was something.
I was just thinking the only time whenever I hear anything about any of these juvenile cases, it is heartbreaking because like, we've all been over this. When you have this condition for longer in your life, you feel like you just miss out on more opportunities, but there's so much more research and leaps and bounds, I feel like, being made in treatment for the juvenile syndromes. They're actually learning more, it seems like, from younger patients, especially.
I don't know because like I don't meet a certain whatever age criteria they have in I don't know what it is, but they still classify my myoclonic as juvenile. But um, yeah, the doctor said it's with me for life, so I don't know. Um, yeah, he said that
Yeah, the
it because
juvenile
it
just means
popped
when
up.
you were diagnosed it.
I was diagnosed at 20.
Oh.
Yeah,
But I mean, is that when they started, or had they been going on
I
since
was just diagnosed
childhood, and that
20 years
was
old
when they were first
today.
recognized? Do what?
Today that I'm sitting here, I'm 20 years old. I was diagnosed about 4 months ago with juvenile myoclonic epilepsy that lasts for life. So I don't really understand why it's
Right, but
juvenile. Um,
because it's from
but I
when the
think it may be
seizures were
because my brain
started,
isn't fully
if
developed
you
yet, because your brain fully develops at 25. So I assume that it's juvenile because my brain isn't fully developed, which
that's
is
a
why
good
they also don't want to do any um surgeries or anything yet for me. They want to wait until my brain fully develops, which I'm fully aware of. I just people get a little confused when I say juvenile because they're like, "Are you a kid?" No, no, but my brain is.
Right.
Have they been happening since before you turned 18?
Yes.
Yeah, so there's the juvenile part of it. They started when you were a juvenile. Just tell those
When
people
I was
that.
in the juvenile facility.
Well, I'm seeing here that JME commonly responds to certain anti-epileptic medications, so maybe it influences the treatment,
Yeah,
alternatives.
that's why I think the clonazepam works. Clonopin. Clonopin is specifically targeted for juvenile myoclonic epilepsy, and that's the one medication that I've been on since before I was diagnosed. And it's the only one that was able to keep my myoclonic jerks at bay, not completely stop them, but make it so that I could get through like maybe 2 days a week without any help completely or get out of the house. But other than that, if I don't have my medication or my clonazepam to help me, on top of my seizure medication, I have uh very like I don't even think I'd be able to join the Zoom call. It's just constant myoclonic jerks constantly, and they do not stop. I cannot emphasize that enough. They would not stop. They would just keep happening, and I think it had a huge impact on my brain, which is why, because it's like having a full-blown seizure back to back to back to back to back, but being awake for it and feeling it, and it's painful as hell. It is so painful.
Got something that says, is anyone scared or embarrassed to tell people they have epilepsy? 25-year-old female, and I am very embarrassed to have epilepsy. I'm always so reluctant to tell people because of their reactions, but I haven't had anyone actually be scared about it. They always been there for me, but they also think I'm always an issue because I have it. I now have a medical bracelet, so it's a bit more difficult not to tell people. I grew up with absent seizures, and when I was about 17, I had my first grand mal seizures, and then when I was 20, I was diagnosed with generalized, but I don't have a lot of seizures. In the last year, I've had 3 seizures in total and months apart, but I get scared at people's reactions to it. The question was, is anyone scared or embarrassed to tell people? Please explain why or why not.
To tell people I have epilepsy, or
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on the context, but I don't think embarrassment would be the correct word regardless of any context. I think it's just cautious or guarded, maybe. Some people don't necessarily need to know, and it's not that I
I
don't
agree with that.
trust them or anything. It's just, there's more to me than my epilepsy, so I don't need to go introducing myself as, hi, I'm Mark the epileptic. Um, you know, yeah, so context dependent, but not really embarrassed.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
If
If
you
it
came
does
up
come
to
up,
me and said
then there's a
I'm
reason.
the epileptic, I would probably start laughing because something about that just itches my ear in a funny way. Because if I went up to someone and said, I'm Olivia, the epileptic, it would just make, if anyone came up to me and said that, it would kind of just make me chuckle, but not in like a judgmental way, just in like a, oh, oh
Yeah,
no,
hell yeah.
I don't know
Just
what to say now.
somebody owning it, that could
Like,
be,
okay.
I,
But like I would like when most people were trying to help me, or if I'm um at the pool, people ask because I have a bracelet on or I write epileptic on my arm. And people will ask, I'm not afraid or scared to be like, yeah, I have epilepsy, and they're like, oh, aren't you afraid to drown? And I'm just like, no, I just came here to swim. But I wouldn't say embarrassed. I just think if someone came up to me, I'm Olivia the epileptic. What's up? That would just make me giggle a little bit. Go around the room and everyone introduces themselves here, and everyone has the same thing.
Another interesting story that kind of piggybacks on that point is family was just telling me on the last trip that we took. What state was that? You guys remember? Anyway, we were at some like recreation of Noah's Ark out west, and somebody walked up to us with the Kentucky, yeah, probably Kentucky. Okay, so not west, but the dog, service dog with a vest. They're telling me a stranger walked up and just nonchalant out of the blue. So what's up with you? Why do you need the dog? So it was one of those like, I that sounds disrespectful to me, but apparently they say I handled it in stride and just nothing stands out. So I guess I
Sometimes,
didn't write it down.
sometimes I say things a little too bluntly like that. But I don't mean it always, and I don't. Well, I never mean it in like a disrespectful way, but sometimes I do ask like somebody like, "What is that?" Like, but not in like a bad way. Just like, "What is that?" Because I'm curious. But then they view it as like disrespectful. But I guess if what's up with the dog, if they meant it like I don't know, if someone said what's up with the dog to me, I'd just be like, I'm epileptic. I don't know. I guess it wouldn't. I don't know. I guess I don't understand why I get a little stunted there. Sorry.
No, I think I would take it this way. If you know the landlord or somebody at admission to an event or something, if they ask, I would, for lack of a better term, school them on you don't need to know. Everything is legit at this point. Go read up on ADA
Oh,
and
yes,
we're
I
good to go.
understand. I understand.
But when it's like the neighbors or some passerby legitimately just asking out of,
Yeah.
if anything, concern or curiosity, I just try to use judgment on
Yes, I
those
understand what
situations.
you're saying. So the dog had the vest on and everything, and if like somebody was
Yeah, and they're telling me
know
it was
what it,
actually the guy at the
yeah,
arc checking people in
okay,
who was like, "What's the matter
yeah,
with you?"
I understand what you mean now.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you
Now
for
I see the
clarification.
distinction that they were trying to make.
Thank you. I understand what you mean now. Yes, I would be a little offended as well because you are trained to know what a dog, what a service animal should be then. Um, but if someone random came up and said it, then yes, I agree. Thank you.
Hey, Rick. How would you answer that question?
I think everybody here knows I'm very open about it, so definitely not scared. Um, I have a bracelet. I let people know. I carry a notebook with me. I said, hey, I used to remember everything, but since I have epilepsy, I don't. So I'm writing this down. So they're always like, oh, he's writing this down. Oh, he's taking notes on his phone. So I just head him off and let them know why I do that. So I'm not embarrassed. I'm not shy about it. I let people know. And I also figure I should let people know because if something happens, I want to know why it's happening.
Right.
I've I know I haven't had seizures in many years, but um, it still feels like I joined a dodgeball league several years ago, and we meet every week, and it's very physical. And just in case something happens, I just told the group organizer, I just let her know in case anything happens. Just told her, you know, uh, very calmly. Didn't have well, wasn't anything big. Very calmly in case anything happened, what to
Yeah,
do and
or
everything. Yeah,
you don't want someone to call the ambulance because that can be a hefty charge. I would let people know that, unless like
right. Yeah,
that was a great picture. I would let anyone know like if the seizure exceeds this amount of time, then call the ambulance. But if not, please do not call the ambulance or else you're getting the bill for that. So unless it's like something bad, but I would just explain a little
yeah,
bit if it's like a work situation or something like that or a trip or whatnot.
If you
Uh,
live in Rhode Island, they can't actually like come after you for medical bills, and it won't affect your credit score. So
well,
you can let that shit build up for a bit.
it affects us here, so
Oh, I know. I'm not saying it's everywhere. Just Rhode Island, at least.
or
Go figure. It's the tiniest little corner.
Oh yeah,
Right.
and we have
Yeah, that
nothing
makes
else
sense.
going for us. That's our one good thing.
I got something for you, Brandon. Are you embarrassed or scared to tell people you have epilepsy? Why or why not?
I am not embarrassed or scared whatsoever. I have gotten over that like fully. I would let everybody who I feel like could benefit from having that info know. Like obviously I'm not telling like, the barista at the coffee shop that I go to every once in a while, but like anybody who I'm gonna be in close proximity to, I want them to know. I don't give a shit about stigma anymore. I want to be safe.
Well, that's a way too to kind of keep loved ones from worrying. Because I know if I'm going to be spending any time anywhere, unsupervised for lack of a better
Yep,
term, then
100%.
the phone's going to be blowing up anyway because someone is going to be texting saying, "Hey, are you dead?" Like they're going to be checking on me more if somebody in the vicinity doesn't know what to do.
My boss has my mom's phone number, specifically because like my first seizure was at work. Um, and he's the one that I'm around the most because it's a small, like 2, 3 person operation. So my boss is going to be around every time. Um, so I was like, no, you need my mom's phone number because she's the one to call if anything happens.
Hey guys, I gotta go to bed. I'm falling asleep. These drugs, man. Yeah,
Sleep well.
diazepam.
Good
Later,
night.
Annie.
Diazepam and
Have a great
X-Coke.
night.
Good night, guys. I'll see you
Get some
Friday.
Bye.
rest.
Sleep
Yeah,
well.
love you guys.
Sweet dreams,
Night.
and
Love
I
you
thank you for the
told
too.
you that
title.
Discovery was going to be hard.
Oh yeah, Anne just gave us a title to this episode or some episode. The drugs, man. Love it.
Aren't like half the episodes about the drugs?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but that's what I'm
they end
saying.
up
We gotta
that.
find a more creative way to say it. So
Oh,
you know it's
okay.
Aren't
Yeah,
unique.
half our lives about the meds?
Right.
You know?
it's
Meth,
like we get that.
AD.
We covered that. Come on, guys.
I got a couple comments here. It says, "No, I don't feel embarrassed, and you should neither. If someone has a problem or acts weird around you, thank them for making it an easy decision to remove them from your life. Surround yourself with people who will help pick you up, not kick you when you're down." Someone else says, "I tell people whenever the subject of driving comes up. I also love talking to old people who are on tons of meds and trading complaints about drugs. I don't do that so much now that I'm only on Excopri."
You want to talk about drugs?
Hey, old timer. Let's talk about these pills. Someone says,
These
I only,
meds.
right. Someone says, "I only feel embarrassed when I have to explain my symptoms when something happens. It makes it sound like an excuse. I've had people get mad at me for not remembering something after they explained it a few times, or when I get spacey and it became awkward." Sorry to hear that.
Fortunately, even your loved ones can do that. Get annoyed because they have to keep
Right.
reminding you of things or telling you things. Sorry, but it's
Yeah.
true.
At least we have the excuse when it comes to like misremembering stuff, Like some people just they have bad memories. They got no excuse. We can at least go, hey, my brain don't work so well.
Sometimes you can use that. Sometimes people don't want to hear that.
Or on the flip side, they'll bring it up more often of, "Hey, remember that time you started to tell this all wrong and I saved your ass or told, set you straight or something?"
Okay, I
Yeah.
actually will mention, like, have or raise your hand if you've been like gaslit about your memory, where someone was like, "No, you totally said this," and you were like, "No, I did not," and I absolutely know that I did not.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have
A
that
few
many
of us.
hands,
Okay.
but I can
Say
raise
that
it a
again,
billion
Angel.
times.
Especially after receiving electroconvulsive therapy, it was like everyone was creating my memory for me, and it was really
Which is so unfair.
it's
That's so
so scary because it's like I don't know what's true and what's not true. I don't know. You could say that I did this, and I don't know if I did that or not. I don't know what happened. I've no idea what happened. So
In this
now it
household, that's
also
reason for me to let it go.
yeah, well, and it also like it's hard too because then it's hard to like if I think that I did something, um, I don't know if I actually did it or not. So someone could say I did do it, and someone could say I didn't do it, and I don't know who to believe because at the end of the day, I don't have that memory anymore. And like I remember doing something important and someone telling me no, I did that instead. And kind of laughing it hurts because I'm not sure like if they're gaslighting me and using that to their advantage now or if I'm like actually misremembering it and just being a dick. And it's really confusing and really shitty. So I don't recommend ECT unless you need it.
Sometimes I just say
It's really
like okay, and I'm like, yeah, if it happened, it happened. I don't like. I'm not gonna question this right now.
yeah. There's
I'm
I'm
just gonna
like
off a duck
pass
stack
this.
on this one.
a lot of times where I'm just like, yeah, I
Maybe, maybe not. I don't
don't
care.
know. And there's a lot of times people want me to remember, but it's like I don't know what to tell you, man. The whole reason I went in for that shit was so that they could electrocute my brain and get the memories out. So what did you expect? Me to have the memories you wanted me to save? Girl, like get the fuck out of here.
Rick, you had your hand up?
Yeah, so I used to be the memory vault of the family where I remembered dates, events. Somebody says, "Oh, when was this picture from?" I would give them the exact date. I was always that person. In college, I was one that remembered everything and blah 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 blah. Anyway, get to the point. Okay, so the point is, since epilepsy, some people have not realized that I can't remember things, and like I happened to be mentioning at a family dinner about how the last seizure I had, I didn't remember getting to the hospital. I don't remember what it looked like. I don't even know if I ate there. All sorts of things. I remember like them putting the electrodes for the EEG, and I remember being on an iPad for a minute or two with a doctor. That's all I remember. And then my mom says, "Well, I was there." I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know." "Well, I was there." I'm like, "Hey, you could yell it at me all you want. I don't remember that you were there, and it's not going to do anything." So it's just interesting how some people just don't get the whole memory thing.
Yeah, like my aunt, like she was like there was like this candle that she had out when we went to her house and she's like, look at this candle. And I'm like, cool. That's a cool candle. She's like, do you remember it? I'm like, no, it's a Yankee candle. She's like, you got it for me this time. And I'm like, okay. She's like, do you remember? I'm like, no. Yeah, I don't know. I was 12 or something. 10? I don't know. I haven't seen you in like 10 years, girl. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know anything about the candle. I don't even remember your husband's name sometimes. So I don't know. They just don't seem to be able to grasp the fact that when you lose your memory, you lose your memory. And they haven't lost theirs, so the only person that understands it is my grandpa because he has dementia. He's the only person that understands my memory loss. The only person that can empathize with me and make me feel like I'm not crazy is my grandpa.
Yeah, I like old people who have memory problems. No, but my grandma had that, and yeah, I
I
used to make fun
empathize
for her
with
about it.
all of you.
Say that again, Angel.
I empathize with all of you. I know the memory loss.
Oh yeah, thank you. I empathize with all of you guys as well. I know what you're going through. Some of you, actually, because not all of you. We're all under different circumstances, but I got something else here. It says, what is one thing you wish non-epileptic people would understand about us? For me, it will be how my medication can drain me. It's not that I'm lazy, but there are times where I can't even focus on a simple task. It's mentally exhausting. First comment says 8.5 years seizure free does not mean I am cured. I am lucky that my first medication post diagnosis worked for me, but you bet your ass that the second I don't have my meds for 24 hours, I have a fucking seizure. And like saying a diabetic is no longer diabetic because they have insulin. Like, that's not how it works.
You no longer have cancer because you're receiving chemo treatments.
Yeah, I could
But
see
you
how
can't
people think that.
cancer you can care, but it's just like a I see what they're making there. It's like a not the word.
You think
Well,
an
the comment
assumption?
says,
No,
it again.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know. My brain has been really scattered today.
We'll come back to you.
That's what I was gonna go with was assumptions. Oh, my bad. Go ahead, Mark. Your hand is up.
Yeah, assumptions.
I would say, I wish that they knew that CBD is not magic and that not everybody needs to recommend it to every epileptic person they meet. I don't know. It's something I've heard from several people out of nowhere, unsolicited advice. Just, oh, you should take more CBD. I'm like, man, I'm taking my meds. Like, don't, like,
But they don't know how much you're taking already, right? They're making the assumption that you're not taking some or that you're not taking enough. How do they know?
I don't know. I don't know. But, the fact that my seizures aren't controlled means that it's obviously not enough. So, I need more, apparently. Um, so,
Yeah, I agree. Any assumptions? If somebody ever finds out about the diagnosis and makes any assumption of any kind about medication or frequency or severity, that's what I wish would change. All right, guys, check the comments. Gotta head out. Later.
All right.
Hey, love you.
So,
I gotta go to sleep.
Okay, Lufa.
Good night, guys.
All right. Good night,
good night.
sweetheart.
See you
Sleep
Friday.
tight.
Good
Bye.
night.
I know a lot of you guys are on the East Coast too. You guys heading out?
yeah,
keep going?
I hate to dive off right on the end of this bandwagon, but I'm a little bit past my bedtime already. I really should get going. So, but it's been great talking to everybody, and I will be seeing you all on Friday.
All right, I'll see you then.
Yeah, definitely, Mark.
Have a
We
good
love
one.
talking to you. You always have something new for us. Love it.
Knowledge.
Cool.
Knowledge. Love it.
Yeah.
Nice, Mark.
Thanks. See you later.
Yeah, I'm East Coast, but I'll stick around for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
All
All right.
right.
Cool.
You know me, bro.
Please take your medication as prescribed or whatever works for you. We're not doctors.